Welcome to Voices of Leadership. I'm Chris Atwell, and in each episode, I sit down with the leaders shaping the future of the manufacturer's rep industry. Real stories, real challenges, real growth. This is where leadership comes to life.
Good to be with you, Chris.
Yeah,
Good to
thank
be
you.
here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you joining me today. I know it's a busy couple of days, and I truly believe this conversation is of great importance because you bring a wealth of experience to the industry, and there's many leaders, I'm sure, who could get value from what you have to share. And as they continue to grow and learn and lead with purpose. So I'm going to ask you some questions. We'll go from there. Look forward to hearing what you bring to the table. Question number one. When you think about your leadership, what would a defining moment be that really shaped who you are today?
Right. So, again, this may be somewhat of a surprise to you, but I can't really pinpoint one moment, but really more a series of moments. Having grown up, being second generation in our company, growing up seeing my father navigate a lot of the challenges that he went through with people, whether that be people who worked in his company or relating to customers or manufacturers that we represented. I got to see a lot, some good, some not so good. I also had the benefit of some of his friendships and some family relationships that we had. I've always been exposed to people who own their own businesses, and I got to see how they led. So I like to think that maybe I took some of the better, and I saw some other things that I didn't like, that I didn't want to incorporate, and kind of left those to the side. But I would say it's been more forged over time than rather a lot of times people say, there's an aha moment. Yeah. So no aha moment for me.
No aha moment, but a culmination of experiences you've collected over time that have created the leader you see today.
And I say this humbly, it's still a work in progress. There's not a day or a week that goes by where I don't see something new that makes me think that we, my company, myself personally, can get better. Yeah. We're always working at it.
Yeah, you're always working at it. And I'm sure, business isn't easy, right? There's a lot of moments that require decisive action, challenges. So every leader has to face these tough moments. I'm wondering, what sort of tough moments have you experienced, and what do you do to overcome them?
Well, there's been certainly the big thing that people in our field talk about is the economy expanding and contracting and all the challenges that brings with it. Yeah. And we've had times where we've had to contract our business, maybe pull back a little bit. We've been very fortunate. We work with a plan, we work with a purpose, and sticking to that plan has served us well. Sometimes the times get a little tough, and there's could be a temptation perhaps to change course. I think you really have to have a steady hand and stay the course. And there used to be a commercial years ago where they would say, don't ever let anybody see you sweat. Right. So you have to maintain that calm demeanor and keep a steady hand and keep forging ahead.
Yeah, beautiful. What a great example. You've got so many different challenges, but what I'm hearing is if you've got a plan, stick to it. Don't veer off too far into left field.
Right. But again, the flip side of that is in this age of GPS, right?
Right.
You could follow that lady tells you to drive off the cliff. You got to see the cliff is there, right? You don't want to drive the car over. Yeah. So, you don't want to be too stubborn, but there's definitely, I think something to be said for staying true to your plan. If it's a good plan, it's going to carry you through.
Yeah, beautiful. You've clearly learned a lot along the way, and being second generation, being exposed to all these businesses and entrepreneurial owners, etc. What would you say is the most important habit or routine that you've adopted for yourself that allows you to show up as the leader that you want to be every day?
Habit or routine? I might have to come back to that one.
Yeah, take your time.
Keep rolling, but yeah. maybe give me another phrase of the question.
Yeah. So maybe there's a mindset that that you've adopted that allows you to show up every single day. Yeah.
So in terms of really, a mindset, I don't do a ton of reading. In fact, we've talked about coaching, and I work with a coach. And one of the things we set goals, and one of my goals year after year after year is to read more. Okay, and I never really seem to pull it off. But some of the reading that I've done, something that resonated with me that I read a long time ago was about servant leader.
Yeah.
It's a mindset to, take care of your people. And if you do that, they'll take care of you. You really don't have to sweat the small stuff in the day-to-day. If you're really taking care of your people at a high level, everything kind of falls into place. And I remember it was something from the military about the officers eat last.
Yeah.
Right? So they make sure the troops get fed, and then they can eat at the end.
Yeah.
And I tried to adopt that as much as I could, going back, I don't know, probably a dozen years ago or so, maybe even more.
Yeah.
And it really was, I don't want to oversell it and say it was a defining moment, but it definitely brought things into a clearer focus and gave us, really kind of propelled us, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. That mindset of servant leadership and being in the habit of taking care of your people first is the way that you show up every single day. And to you, that's an important part of your day to day.
I've little things, the days I'm in the office, I walk in the office, I give everybody a greeting, I make eye contact.
Yeah.
I never come in with my head down, on my cell phone,
right.
Muttering, or, you have to be present wherever it is. You have to be in the moment. And I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah. Beautiful. Those are habits and routines. I mean, you're showing up to the office and you're making a habit of saying hello to everybody and welcoming them and checking in on your people and making sure that they're fed and they're taken care of.
That's right.
Yeah. Beautiful. If you were to come face to face with Scott Cooper, a young Scott Cooper in his 20s, about to step into his leadership, what advice would you give him today?
The best advice I could give a younger self, or perhaps even my son, who's our third generation in the business, right?
Yeah.
Is never be afraid to ask for help. Never be afraid to ask for help. We're very fortunate that we are in a great giving industry, a lot of support here. We're here at AMAR, which is all about networking and support and sharing, and people will be very, very generous if you're sincere and you just ask for help, whether it's that you don't know how to close a deal, or maybe you don't understand how a product works, or why you can't seem to break through past the receptionist.
Yeah.
To get into seat, whatever it is, there's somebody who's already done it, who knows how to do it. And if you just ask, most of the time they'll help you and show you how to do it.
Yeah. Why do you think people might be reluctant to asking for help?
I think that people are just embarrassed. They just feel like they say like I think they feel it's a sign of weakness. Right? They're supposed to come in. They want to portray that they're an expert, that they have all the answers already. And I think that nothing turns people off more than that when somebody comes in with that kind of air about them.
Yeah.
I think we've all heard the thing where people will say, I want to ask a stupid question. You're in a meeting, someone put, right? And what do people say? There are no stupid questions, right?
Yeah.
And I always say asking questions is a sign of intelligence. We try and instill that in our people when we train them, when they come on board, part of our onboarding, how we want them to conduct themselves and behave. Ask questions. Ask questions, and that's how you learn. And not only that, it's the most efficient way to learn too.
Yeah. Yeah. And to your point, people may see it as a weakness, and there may be some underlying reasons as to why they think that. But at the end of the day, asking questions and asking for help is a strength. It's a superpower.
Yeah. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think, Bill Gates got to where he is by not asking questions or asking for help.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of changes happening in the industry, in your business. It's growing. What are you most excited about when it comes to this industry and your business in the very near future?
Well, if you look at an industry level, what's exciting about it is that we're not selling a fad. Right? Whatever the products and services that we provide are things that are needed, and they'll always be needed.
Yeah.
An old friend, actually an old associate of my dad, said, as long as people have to go to the bathroom and wash their hands, we're going to always have demand for what we do.
Yeah.
That's kind of an oversimplification, but I would say that what's really exciting about it is that, especially now in the rep function, there's just endless opportunity. There's endless opportunity. If you look at the universe of distributors that we call on, and then you layer in the contractors and the project owners, and then the architects and the engineers, and by the time you're finished, the opportunity is endless. And the fun part is, as entrepreneurs, as we were talking before, we get to decide how we're going to go out and attack that market, who we're going to call, where we're going to deploy our resources. That's where the planning comes in, and that's where the fun is, and that's where the excitement comes in.
Beautiful. It is exciting. There's an endless amount of opportunities and just a wonderful group of people to work with at the same time.
Yeah.
What if you look at your leadership journey, and you mentioned earlier, you never stop growing. You were humble about it. You're saying, hey, I'm still learning. What does that next version in your leadership look like for you? If you were to take a look at a vision in the future,
right,
where do you need to be?
What's interesting, because it's kind of started already, as I mentioned before, we have our third generation now has entered the company, and we have some people one individual's been with me for over 30 years who's getting ready to retire. So it's a generational shift,
right?
And as owner, you have to at some point realize, okay, this isn't about me anymore. Okay, there's a greater good, again, with the team, like we were talking about, and making sure your people are taken care of, right? So everything that we're doing now and that I'm doing now is building it out for, the people who are going to take our team forward, but also for the manufacturers that entrust us to work with them, that they have to know that their future is secure with us and that it's in good hands. So everything that we're doing is really building out that structure and that support mechanism to make sure that, what we have built so far and what we have is going to survive long after I'm out of the picture.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like the evolution of your leadership is now at a place where you're developing leaders who will eventually be developing leaders.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm spending, my time and effort is, again, developing the other members of the team. The people who are making the purchasing decisions now are not my peers anymore. They're much younger.
Yeah.
And they want to deal and relate with our salespeople who are their contemporaries.
Yeah.
So again, I have to do everything I can to make them as good as they can be.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, that's fantastic. It was great chatting with you, Scott. Thank you so much for joining me. As I mentioned earlier, I think these conversations are really important, and we're so lucky to work in this industry, and you sharing your experience will add a lot of value to those leaders who continue to learn, to grow, and really want to lead with purpose. I appreciate your time.
Great. Thank you.
My pleasure.
It's great to be with you.
Thanks.